Aloha, shifters and light guardians, and welcome to our group tarot reading party. My name is Brendan, aka Mystic Spider-Man, Skull Babylon Wolf Shield. So happy to be able to have you here. Of course, this is a very special occasion. I am joined by some of our fellow conscious creators and leading members here within the community. We have Eloise and as well as Nadine, the fascinating fairy. You guys can wave to the camera there. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. For those of you on YouTube, just do me a favor and drop an 1111 in the chat to confirm that you guys can hear me loud and clear. Again, for those of you on TikTok or Instagram, now is the time to be able to jump over to YouTube, click the link in my profile to be able to do that. And what we'll do here, we'll just kind of get things situated. We'll set the intention. And so this is a group tarot reading party. So what the shift does that mean? So basically, it means that it's myself and fellow members of fellow leading members of the Paradigm Shift Central community, our community of conscious creators, coming together to be able to practice doing readings for the community. So between now and the next 90 minutes, we'll be going around through rotation, and we might have a few more of the leading members joining on air with us. And we're going to be doing each reading as like a collective reading for the community, for whoever happens to be tuned in right now. So we'll actually start off just by going around and giving the fellow creators here a chance to briefly introduce themselves. And I'd love to even just talk a little bit about why tarot is something that we're passionate about. And then from there, we'll get right into our first reading. So thank you again, everyone, so much for joining in. As we go through tonight's reading, you'll see me posting links for the creators in the chat, as well as their PayPal contribution link. So if you guys feel like contributing to either myself or any of the other creators, absolutely, please feel free to do that. And yeah, this is super exciting. And it's also this is basically a full moon party. Like, I'm just going to say, why not? Like, it's like 99%. It's basically a full moon party. So we're working with the full moon energies. And yeah, we're super excited to be able to have you here as well. So for any of you tuned in on YouTube, feel free to like screenshot this and then post it to your Instagram stories and tag Mystic Spider-Man. That's a great way to be able to share. And also, you can feel free to tag the other creators as well. And I'll post the links for them in the YouTube chat. And it looks like we have another player is joining the game here. We actually have Kristen joining in. So we'll give a moment here just for Kristen to be able to get situated. And then we'll start just by going around the circle and again, introducing some of the other fellow conscious creators and the readers that we have here tonight. So we're also live on Twitch for those of you who are eager to be able to jump over to Twitch. And yeah, I would even encourage you who may be on Twitch to feel free to just kind of like jump over to Twitch, maybe leave some comments there, because I don't know, Twitch is it's kind of quiet sometimes, but who knows? Maybe we can build some momentum. Maybe we'll get raided tonight. Maybe there will be like 1,000 people tuned in. We never know. Either way, this is all just practice. So quick introduction as we get things going. ParadigmShiftCentral.com. If you haven't connected there, feel free to do so. Through there, you can join our community on our Discord server, where we host different events by different members, as well as their content and services. And also feel free to check out the Patreon, and that's where you can join as a member in our community. And that's where you can join on air for our private member events, such as this and many other events that we do throughout the weeks and month. And a very kind thank you to our Patreon supporters who help make this possible. And thank you, everyone, for your support in all forms. So there's Kristen as well. So hi, Kristen. Thank you for joining in. And yeah, let's just go around real quick. And I'd love to just give you guys a chance to just introduce yourself and just kind of share, like, what's your relationship with tarot? Just tell us a little bit about, like, why is tarot something that you're interested and passionate about? And we'll just talk a little bit about that, and then we'll get right into our first reading. Who would like to, who can I pass it to first? I'll pass it to whoever is ready. Sure, Kristen. Yeah, we can pass it to Kristen. Okay. All right, Kristen, we'll pass it over to you. So for everybody here, let's give a kind welcome to Kristen. And then from there, we'll keep passing the talking stick around. So Kristen, go ahead. Who are you, and why is tarot something that you're passionate about? Welcome, Kristen.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Brendan. And thank you, everyone else. I'm super excited to be able to share this space today. Tarot for me is really a beautiful tool to be able to connect with spirit, get clarity, find motivation. And I'm also Pinot Rising. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. And I love to incorporate tarot into my personal practices and in my community spaces to be able to share inspiration, wisdom, and love. So yeah, I'm just really excited. I love these tarot circles to be able to share and be able to see the many different ways that we all utilize our gifts, and all the wisdom that comes forth is so beautiful. So thank you, Brendan, for holding this space, and thank you, everyone, for being here with us.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. And yeah, and it's fun doing this event. Yesterday we had a paradigm shift circle discussion. It was all about how does spirit communicate with us. We talked a little bit about tarot there. So yeah, this is a way for again, just for me kind of sharing a bit about tarot. The way I see tarot is it's a way for the universe to communicate to itself. And so we kind of use tarot as a way for the universe to use the symbols of tarot to be able to express a message. And it's interesting because it's like it gets very quantum when you're doing tarot. Like, when you're looking at a deck, and this is again, for people who are just like, what is tarot? Like, why is tarot what it is? One of the things that's interesting, if I'm like shuffling the deck here, there's something quantum going on where because I can't see what the cards are, it's like every card is every card. And therefore, when you set the intention and then I just happen to kind of be like, oh, it's this card, it's almost as if that in that moment, there's like the observation effects like collapses the matter of the card. And then it just happens to be the right card for you in that moment. And that's what I find is that when you use tarot and you have that intention of just kind of show me what I need to see, so many times it's just like, whoa, this really resonates. And I like to use tarot. Everyone's kind of got their own style, not so much as just kind of like, hey, like, tell me everything about the future. Like, am I going to, is my girlfriend going to get da 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 da? Is this person going to do this? Like, am I going to get that job that I want, sort of thing? Like, you can try asking those specific questions. But I usually, again, it's just kind of like, show me what I need to see. And then the tarot might kind of like, either reflect something back to you that's affirming, and it's like, whoa, this is actually showing me a lot of my own path right now, and maybe it's affirmation to say I'm on the right path, or it can just kind of be like helping you become aware of something that you didn't perhaps become aware of. Like an example would be like, oh, this tarot card's telling me that I need to like delegate my tasks more. I'm taking on too many responsibilities. I need to slow down, and be like, thanks, universe. Like I got so busy in my own mind, and the cards become a way for us to be able to receive a gentle and sometimes a blunt message, just be able to decide how we choose to bring that into our consciousness. Sometimes it's very blunt. I'm sure we've all been there. So with that said, Nadine, can we pass it over to you next? And then you can, again, just introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what tarot is to you. Welcome, Nadine.
Hi, everyone. Nadine. You can call me Fairy or Faye. My channel is The Fascinating Fairy, and I do read tarot on the channel. I do also like meditations and stuff. I got into tarot when I started learning how to do mediumship and channeling, because it gave me kind of that tool, that modality to connect with spirit outside of my own ego. So using the pictures, the numbers in the pictures, the colors that are represented in the pictures allowed me to kind of confirm information that was already coming through that I was doubting. So I received messages pretty clearly through my claircognizance, sometimes through the clairvoyance. Sometimes I hear things, sometimes I feel things. But one of the problems that I had a lot in the beginning was that kind of imposter syndrome and the ego kind of like going into doubt and not understanding. So tarot opened up my kind of ability to have confirmations with a lot of the information that comes through. So when I do reading for people, I get a lot of messages already for them. And so I'll have cards come out specifically that confirm those messages. And it also helps me integrate deeper into the messages themselves. So I'm able to essentially say like a line, and then a card will come out that will just like kind of explain why I had to say that specific thing. So tarot has been a huge part of my channeling experience, and then also just how I kind of communicate and connect with spirits. It's one of my favorite modalities for that.
Awesome. Beautiful answer. And yeah, again, like it's really interesting because again, different people are going to kind of use tarot in different ways, and tarot can kind of become like a jump point for us to kind of like maybe connect with people's guides, however you want to explain it. Where again, I've experienced this with tarot, where for us as a reader, it's a chance for us to kind of get into this flow state, practice getting into our heart space, which again is so much what we talk about here within the community, and then to just kind of be able to feel. It's just like okay, like something's coming through. Like I'm going to say this. Maybe it's going to mean something to you. And then lo and behold, person's like, oh, whoa, like that's totally what I needed to hear. So within the practice of doing tarot, for us, it's like we're conscious, but then we're also kind of like, we're working as an instrument for the universe to be able to communicate those messages through us. It's not so much just always about like us trying to tell them what we think they want to hear, but it's just kind of us feeling, what needs to come through in that moment. So yeah, it's so cool. And I love the idea that different people have different styles with tarot. And for those of you tuned in right now, like I hope in watching this video, maybe this will get people interested in perhaps practicing tarot in their own way as well. So Eloise, would you like to go next? We can pass it over to you. So when you're ready, go ahead. ahead, Eloise.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, I'm Eloise. I also go by Wheezy. My Instagram is Wheezy for Sheezy. It'll be in the comments section. And I've been doing tarot for about 4 or 5 years now. And for me, it's about the synchronicities and how everything is connected. And that's really what has resonated with me and tarot. I've noticed that I've become really in tune with the meanings behind the cards. So like the planets that they're connected to and the signs that they're connected to. And I've been learning a lot about like the chakra system and just more about how everything is like really aligned and interconnected. And that's where I've kind of been going with tarot. And again, I also use it for kind of just guidance. It's not so much for predicting the future, what have you, but more for like connecting to source and spirit, and it's almost like it's kind of like reading a book of your life, or like reading or like a mystery novel of your life, kind of, and like you have to like investigate what the meanings are, and like kind of source is like giving you those clues, and you have to go through and kind of decipher what they mean to you, and so it's more about how you connect with them, and that's how I see it. And so that's how I like to connect with the cards. And I hope I'm excited to be here tonight, so thank you.
Thank you, Eloise. Well, with that said, for the people in the YouTube chat, like what is tarot to you? Why is tarot something that you're interested in? And again, tarot is something you can do for yourself. It's something you can do for other people. And I've found tarot to be helpful. Again, when if I'm doing it for myself, sometimes where it's just kind of like, you've seen me do tarot broadcasts daily, and that's like one thing. But when I'm doing like tarot specifically for myself, there have been times where, like I wouldn't do it. Sometimes I go like months without doing it. And then suddenly I would like choose to do a reading, and I was just like, whoa, like that was so on point. So again, tarot is a way for us to be able to connect with that bigger part of ourselves, to be able to receive that guidance when we feel we're seeking it. Or sometimes it is just to be able to receive valuable inspiration that can give us more perspectives and just kind of like bring us back to a little bit more of like that awareness of the world around us. So whether you're doing tarot every day, whether you're doing it, like twice a year, that's totally cool. Either way, it's going to be something that can work for you. But I think the key thing is just the relationship that you have with the cards. If you're just like, it's like, come on, give me that ace of spades, like give me the ace of flames, like come on. If you're just like trying to like bribe the tarot deck, like that's probably not going to work. It's kind of like this like surrendering process, and you might not always like what you see, but again, like sometimes that's exactly the card that you need to get in that moment. So well, let's get right into some readings. And again, for tonight, we're going to be doing both tarot readings and oracle readings. Oracle readings are, again, it's within the same ballpark. Tarot is obviously the traditional tarot deck with the major arcana and the minor arcana, and that's the one that people are familiar with. Oracle decks are usually decks that are more kind of like customized. They're written by people in their own style. They might have their own like kind of like a whole selection of different kind of like ways that they can create the cards and stuff. So the oracles are more kind of like varied, and the tarot is more kind of traditional. So we'll do a little bit of both tonight. And for anybody here, I'm totally cool with not going first. So even though we're all here together, I'm more than willing to see if anybody else might want to be able to check in. And again, the way how I would encourage us to do it, while inviting you guys to do your own style, is for anybody here, like just reminding them, like, if you're here, this message is for you. And then whether or not you just want to lead us through a little bit of a meditation, we'll charge in the cards. And then when you feel called, just kind of split the deck. Or if you feel you want to facilitate through the chat, that's one way. That takes a little bit of extra detail. But I think even just now, just kind of intuitively us stepping into the role where we can just kind of like draw it through our own intuition is totally fine for tonight. And we'll keep it to maybe like 10 minutes per reading. And then, we'll just keep things going throughout the night. So who here would somebody like to go first? Otherwise, I'm more than happy to go first, but I just wanted to be able to check if anybody else did want to be able to go first. And I'm like, maybe, no, should I go first then? Nadine? Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, okay. So let's pass it over to Nadine. I'll put the camera up, and we'll bring it up as Nadine on the main camera, and the rest of us will be in the background, and we'll be in the YouTube chat with you guys, and we'll post some links for Nadine in the YouTube chat, and as well as the PayPal link. So again, for any of the creators here, if you guys want to contribute any PayPal contributions as we go, if you're just like, whoa, that really resonated, or I really appreciate what we're bringing here, then yeah, please, by all means, go ahead and do that and support our creators. So yeah, thank you again, everyone. And with that said, we'll pass it over to Nadine. So Nadine, when you're ready, we'll let you go first, and then maybe I'll go after that, or whatever we decide. So let's hear it for Nadine. Go ahead, Nadine.
All right, everybody, thank you. So we're just going to jump right in because I've kind of already been doing my warm-up process. I already have a card for you guys that came out while Brendan was talking. So our first card is 12. It's awakening. There is a huge collective mass awakening happening right now. Some of you are going through like almost like a second awakening. So you had your spiritual awakening, you had your awareness, you kind of started integrating higher consciousness into your reality. And now that awareness that you had built was like a foundation. Now it's time to take that next step up in the level. So this is looking at things from a completely different perspective. Your perspective shifted and changed when you started going through the awakening. But once you integrate that you are no longer in that same consciousness level that you were prior to your awakening, that's when you start moving into that second level. So you have your awakening, you have this level that you're building, and then you transcend that level. So this is where a lot of you guys are going right now. And this is when you get to really start stepping into a more authentic version of yourself, because you're leaving that old identity that you had in the past behind. So, and this goes for anybody who goes through spiritual awakening process, psychic awakening. That first kind of experience, that first level after your awakening, you're still holding on to that old identity of who you were prior to your awakening pretty strongly. So once you start becoming aware and seeing things from a different perspective through your higher consciousness, you start realizing that old identity that you were holding on to isn't you anymore. It's a version of yourself that you created for the sake of other people. So now it's time to let that identity go so that you can really become the most authentic version of yourself that you've ever been. Okay, and this is also the completion of a cycle. So you get out of these karmic cycles and situations that you were in when you were kind of in default mode. And now, because you are aware of your ability to create your reality, you're a conscious creator, you're no longer having to replay those cycles, those loops. You're able to move into that higher spiral step, that higher experience of actually being able to create things that are in alignment with what you want to experience in your reality versus what was programmed into your subconscious as you were growing up. Okay. You may even find as you're going through this stage, it's like kind of a liminal, a gestation period, that certain things will be kind of at a temporary standstill. There may be some delays, there may be some holdbacks, there may be kind of that slowing down period where you have to really take a look at everything going on in your present reality. How is this affecting you right now? Is this a part of yourself that you want to continue moving forward with? Is this a part of yourself that is in alignment with your most authentic experience, your most authentic expression? All right. And as you do that, you step into that higher level, you become more authentic. You're able to express the things that you love, the things that you want to do based on your own feelings, not based on the external opinions and feelings of other people. You move into the sun energy. So the sun is all about abundance.
Can you hold the image of the card up a little bit longer so we can see that, and even just maybe hold that up as we're talking? Can we see the first one too? So the first one was awakening. What's the image on that?
That is Archangel Gabriel.
Interesting. Okay.
So that actually brings one more awareness in as well. With Archangel Gabriel, because you have the energy of healing from programs that you developed as a child and as you were growing up. I had mentioned that before. Archangel Gabriel works a lot with healing the inner child as well as working with children. So this could be you as a parent raising your children differently than you were raised, so that they don't have the same kind of struggles, that they are able to grow up into that higher level of consciousness. This is how come we have so many children that are becoming more and more woke at younger ages, whereas a lot of us, we started going through our awakening process like 20s, 30s. Like I didn't have mine until I was 30. So it's like, I was actually older than 30. I was like 32. But it's given me the ability to notice like my own children, their psychic abilities, and help them work through that, and also so that when they get into those older stages of awareness where they're able to use those psychic abilities, they can look at things from a different perspective versus the perspective that maybe I saw things as a kid. And so this is going to also open up more abundance for them as they get in. You don't have to have as many struggles as in your early 20s when you are a conscious creator, versus like where you're basically on default mode, living out these programs that were kind of implemented into you as a child and an early teenager. So this is really positive, not just for you as you're going through your awakening process, but also those of you that have children that are bringing up these children that are becoming awakened. Okay. And they're starting younger and younger and younger. The more and more you are aware of your own child's psychic abilities, the more you can develop them at a young age, because children are basically born psychic, and we just don't give them that awareness as they're growing, because we weren't aware of it. So as we are becoming more aware of them, we can help them become what we are trying to become now in our higher levels of consciousness. Okay. This is also really important when it comes to your manifestations and manifesting in abundance. So 4 of Earth is connected to, sorry, my ring light's putting that glare right there. 4 of Earth, okay. And you can see she has the pot of gold in her hand. This is connected to trying to bring balance in your financial matters, financial abundance, and manifesting in a state of gratitude versus a state of lack. So a lot of us were raised like by our parents saying, we don't have money for this, we don't have money for that. That program, we don't have money, moves into your own subconscious. And so you grow up with this kind of thought, I don't have money, I don't have money. So you spend a lot of your life struggling because you're running that program over and over and over. So when you can shift out of that program of I don't have money, you can move into that I'm grateful for everything I have right now, and start drawing in more of the things that you're grateful for. So if you're grateful for the pennies that you have right now, those pennies are going to become dollars, those dollars are going to become bigger, and next thing you know, you're going to have money in the bank. So it starts with becoming aware of where that is being held in a lack consciousness. And that's where the 4 of Fire comes in. That's abundance, that's peace, that's happy, stable movement forward, as well as the home life, because you've got the 4 pillars. So 4 pillars is all about having that stable, solid foundation. And typically the 4 of Fire also, when coming out in a love reading, is connected to having that really, really successful, loving relationship. So this can be abundance for yourself. If you go through that, seeing things from a different perspective, maybe you grew up and your parents had a really rocky relationship. So you've repeated that cycle over and over, and you've had rocky relationships. As you become aware of how you're repeating cycles that you were taught growing up, you can change that within yourself by changing the way you are in a relationship. And even if that means you have to leave the relationship you're currently in order to be in a relationship that reflects your own stability, you have to first go into the self. You have to love self, and you have to treat the self in the same way that you want to be treated by a partner. And that is how you have that stable foundation in a relationship. This is also how you create a stable foundation in a job or career. If you aren't putting in the time and the commitment into your job or your career that you want that career to give back to you, you're not going to have the same type of stability, okay? So that's my message for the collective, and hopefully that resonates with somebody.
Awesome. Thank you, Nadine. Beautiful energy. And again, it's being able to do this here is really interesting because, like, you know, for the people who are watching this broadcast, like, this is also a chance to kind of sample the different like tarot readers that we got here, and everyone's kind of got their style. And Nadine, I liked how and it's interesting because I'm learning by observing, like with you, the way how you're kind of doing it. Like there's just kind of like this consistent flow where you're pulling the cards as you're reading the previous cards. And then you're kind of like moving, you're like telling a story where it's kind of like the cards are kind of like laying out this path as you're doing them. And like, I'm just like, compared to mine where it's like one card at a time. And then with yours, it's like, boom, 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 boom. But it was like, it was kind of cool. Like, can you just maybe like share, like, cause I mean, like, that's obviously like you've got a style to that and everything like that, but that was kind of cool. I'm just curious if there's anything else you just wanted to explain with that. Cause like, yeah, you were like pulling those like as you were reading them.
Yeah, so it's like a stream of consciousness that kind of comes through as like a download, and it's definitely a very clear set message. But what happens is I'm pulling the cards through, so I tend to shuffle the decks as I'm talking, and as I'm saying certain things, cards will flip out. And that card will always have either a word or an image or something within the card that's confirming what I'm saying and allowing me to continue elaborating on whatever that is. So it's like, you know how you have words that trigger the next thought? So that's like, the cards for me are that trigger for that next thought. And it does come as kind of a solid stream of consciousness. That's why I can just kind of as the cards are kind of flying out. I can spend a lot of time on one card, but I tend to, because I'm always doing something with my hands, I'm always moving around, I tend to just shuffle the deck while I'm talking. And that has benefited me in a lot of ways, because as I'm bringing through the information, more information will start flipping out and triggering either confirmation that thought. So I'll say something and then a card will flip out and say exactly the word that I just said. And that just confirms to whoever's getting the reading, like, yeah, she's definitely bringing through that message very clearly. So that's just kind of, I definitely read very differently than most tarot readers.
That's cool though. Yeah, I like the fact that like every style of tarot is unique to the individual reader. So because that's one thing, like, yeah, like I know like over the years of doing tarot, I've kind of like leaned towards a style that just kind of works with my energy, and your energy is different, and so is Kristen and Eloise. So we all got our own way of working, and again, tarot's just a tool. So how we use it is really, it's going to be unique for the individual. So thank you again, Nadine, and again, for everybody here, feel free to connect with Nadine. Again, I posted Nadine's Instagram into the chat, as well as their donation link, and I'll post that again as well, and we'll hear from them as we go. And again, Seraphine Faye 444 on Instagram. So keeping things moving along here, would anybody else like to volunteer to go next if you guys would like to do so? Otherwise, I'll jump in and then anybody else can go after that. So I guess I'll go next. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's cool with me. Okay. All right. Since I'm already holding this deck, I'll do this. So this is the Hero's Journey deck. So again, with the way how I do my readings, and a lot of you guys, you've seen this. I've done again, like tarot readings on air many times throughout the years, and Nadine does tarot broadcasts on her channels as well. So again, make sure you guys are connected there as well. And again, with mine, I like to just be able to do like a little bit of a meditation, and then from there, I'll pull the card. I'll read the book, and then from there I kind of extrapolate on it by just kind of like channeling in the information. And again, it's different because like Nadine, you've got the book up here, so like when you see the card, you're like, I know what this means, and it just kind of comes through. With me, I'm just like, let's double check, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of the pacing of it is a little bit different, but each one's kind of cool in its own way. Okay, all right, so for everybody here, let's just do a quick little meditation, and we'll just set the intention, show us what we need to see. So for everyone who's tuned in, as we do this, if anything I say resonates, and this goes for the other readers, if anything we say resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat. And that's just kind of like a cool way to confirm that, again, what we're saying here is like something that resonates with you. So quick little meditation, real quick one. So for everybody here, when you're ready, go ahead and gently close your eyes if you wish. It's totally optional. And just allowing ourselves to connect with our breath. I'm just giving a second here to just slow down. And as we breathe here, just bringing ourselves into our heart space, into gratitude. Grateful for ourselves, for tuning in, for joining this party. Grateful for the community, for the wisdom, for all the amazing people we have here with us today. And from here, just focusing our hearts, with our gratitude in our heart, focusing our attention on the idea of show us what we need to see. And so this is we, the individual, we, the team, we, the collective. So this reading's for anyone who's tuned in right now. And so speak that intention with your heart, speak with your mind, speak with your words, speak with your soul. And for everybody here, just go ahead and take a few more breaths. And I'll just gently set things up here, do a little bit more magic. And when you guys are ready, you can just, first of all, just like, as we just focus in on this intention, imagine like a beam of light, like shooting up from where you are into the heavens as we just anchor this wisdom down. And then just continuing to focus on your breath. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes while holding this intention in your heart. Show us what we need to see. And so as we continue to breathe, the magic between you and me will continue to unfold between now and infinity, for this is a chance for us to open our hearts to be able to see how we can continue to arrive into the magic of our part. the sound effects, like, is that like, I don't know, is that like what makes mine unique? Like, I don't know. Everyone's got their own stuff. All right. Okay. So, ooh, interesting. All right. Okay. So the card that I've pulled for the community, for the collective here today is card number 13, Ally in Disguise. Discover the hard to find blessing. Card number 13, Ally in Disguise. Discover the hard finding blessing. So again, I'm just going to do kind of like a speed reading one of this one. I'm not going to rush it, but it'll just be kind of a short one. And yeah, just giving a quick overview of the image. And again, for those of you on TikTok or Instagram, welcome. Go ahead and click the link in my profile to tune in on YouTube. That's where the primary camera is, and you guys can join the rest of the party there. So look at this interesting image, and it's interesting because like the color of this card matches like my aesthetic right now. Like, what's up with that? Like, you can barely even see the card. It's just like in my wall right now. So what do we see here? This is interesting. This is kind of like this like dark, shadowy kind of figure, almost kind of like it almost looks like they're kind of like wearing like a sweater, and but the sweater is like the landscape behind them. This is kind of like, again, I'm just kind of trying to interpret this visually. It's a very interesting image. When you guys see this image, what do you see? When you see this image, what do you see or what do you feel? So yeah, a lot of purples and interesting kind of like silhouetted shadowy figure here. I'm not exactly sure how much more to explain that, but let's find more about what this card means by reading the book. And what's interesting is like, even with these decks, there's like cards in here that I haven't even like discovered myself. This is one of them. I've never read this card on air before. So this is like exciting stuff for me too. All right. So as I read this, I'm going to read from the deck. You guys just get to kind of like listen, tune in with your heart, allow yourself to just be open to the messages that are here. If you're tuned in, this message is for you. Card number 13, Divine Discernment. Step back to find, wait, no, that's not right. Know what happened? I was like looking in the reflection. It's like card number 13. This is card number 31. But Divine Discernment told me that I was reading the wrong card there. So clever. So all right, let's try this again. Now I'm curious about that card too. I'm like, well, what's that card for? Okay. All right. Card number 31, Ally in Disguise. Discover the hard to find blessings. Okay. Here's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ooh, I love him. When a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, the world, and takes him boldly by the beard, he is often surprised to find it comes off in his hand, and that it was only tied on to the scareaway, timid adventurers. Interesting. Okay, message. As you advance along your hero's dream journey, prepare to encounter all types of people and circumstances. There will be those who start off as allies, but turn out to be otherwise. There will be those who judge as enemies, who become the greatest instigators of your spiritual growth. If you know in advance that even the enemies you encounter are allies in disguise, you can relax. So relax, as there really is no such thing as a true enemy. When you reflect on your life, you will realize the most difficult challenges taught you the most valuable lessons and have made you more resourceful and resilient than you would otherwise be. Revel in the reality that you are who you are today precisely because of the challenges you faced and aced. Dream symbol, obstacle. Every card within this deck has like a dream symbol. So obstacle. Dreams of an obstacle suggest challenge. You may be dealing with resistance and getting what you want. Your strength, smarts, and resourcefulness are being tested. Obstacles can be predecessors of depth, intimacy, and personal power. Contemplate your dreamtime strategy for dealing with obstacles. Will you go under or around it? Confront it head on or avoid it? Your dream strategy might be shining a light on how to best surmount the challenges you encounter in your waking life. Mantra, I revel in the blessings discovered in the most unlikely people and places. Beautiful, beautiful message. Okay, so what my style is now, so I've read through the book and now I just kind of like talk about it. I babble about it. That's like one of my superpowers. and then from here, I'll just kind of continue to bring forth some inspiration from my heart to anybody who's tuned in right now. So this is a very interesting message. And just to kind of keep my time here within like 5 minutes, for me, the significance of this message is really just giving us the opportunity to remind ourselves what is our relationship like with the people in our life, be they enemies or allies? And I'm sure we can all probably speak from our own experiences. I know from my own experience that there are people, that I've come across within my life that, like they've done things to push my boundaries. They've done things to trample on my own, rights and everything like that. And then even in those moments, like I had the choice to be able to choose how I would relate to them. First of all, I acknowledged how I felt because how I felt was valid. If they did something to piss me off, I'm not going to pretend that I'd be like, oh, well, even though like they're not my enemy, they're just my friend in disguise. It's just like, no, like the true enemy, this is the depth of the message. The true enemy is like the story your ego tells you. And that is like what you really want to be able to conquer, because in a circumstance like that, you have a choice. First of all, stand up for yourself and create a healthy boundary for yourself. But then at the same time, choose, do I want to make this person my enemy? And if you do that, understand that in the process of doing that, that's like you like consciously putting a lot of energy towards that circumstance. And over time, that can drain you. That can literally just kind of like pull away your focus and attention from other things within your life. You'll find yourself throughout the day just like thinking about it, and it just like burns in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, that person, I hate them so much. And within that, that's an opportunity to actually be able to see how you're responding to that as like one big meditation, and be like, you know what, like, am I giving this more attention than I actually need to? And so when you allow yourself to be able to see things from this higher perspective, you can shift your understanding of things to be able to be like, well, like, this is something that I can choose to see from an empowering perspective. Is this person someone that's in resonance with me? Not necessarily, but are they also teaching me a valuable lesson? That's something that you have the opportunity to be able to decide for yourself. And the fact is that there is always a lesson there. So it's just a matter of whether or not you're consciously looking for it. If you are creating this narrative that this person is your enemy, then you will continue to make an enemy out of them. Period. That will not change so long as you are telling yourself that story. And you could tell that story to yourself to your grave, and it may burn away at your soul, and you may carry that hot coal for the rest of your life. But if you let go of this idea and just be like, you know what? I don't have to like this person, but maybe they don't have to be my enemy either. Maybe this person is someone to say like, you know what, like I release my attachment to you. Because of what's happened, I know that our energies don't resonate, and that's okay. Because I know I'm not for everyone and you're not for everyone. And I'm sure there are people who love you. And just because we don't get along doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. And maybe there's a depth to the story, and maybe you acted out on me because there was something else that happened to you. And if anything, for us, what we can really do from the higher perspective of the hero's journey is choose to be able to see those circumstances where can we see our enemies with empathy. And when we do this, this really gives us the power back. The enemy like wants us to get pissed. They want us to get angry. They want us to be at war with ourselves. And I'm sure in a lot of ways, you can relate this to what's happening in the world right now. In the world right now, they are trying to turn people into enemies of one another. The only way we can win is to be able to see things from above that perspective and just be like, well, what's happening underneath the surface? Why am I being told that this person needs to be my enemy? Do they need to be able to be my enemy, and things like that? So again, within the process of doing this card is a lot to do with healing, with reclaiming our power, and reclaiming our ability to choose how we relate to any sort of relationship that we have within our life. And at the same time, this goes both ways, where there may be people within our life who we may see as allies, but then lo and behold, something may happen where maybe they didn't actually have our best interests in mind. And that might not have always been the case, but maybe something happened along the way, and then they just kind of like did something where they broke our trust. And if that's the case, again, even in that moment, do you want to be able to say like that person is my enemy, or do you just want to be able to say like, you know what, when we were together, when we were friends, our frequencies were in resonance. Over time, things change, you change, I change, we change, circumstance change, and now we're not in resonance. I choose to let you go. I release you, and I reclaim my power in the process of doing so. So when you choose to be able to decide for yourself that this person is no longer my enemy, but rather is an opportunity for me to be able to practice releasing a relationship that no longer serves me, you reclaim that power. And again, there's one more other way of being able to see this, where this goes actually back to the Arthurian legend, King Arthur. Someone who I kind of like look to as kind of like an example of like virtue and stuff like that. I really resonate with like a lot of like the Arthurian legend and myth and the messages there. But one of the things that was interesting about King Arthur is that King Arthur was actually known for making his enemies into allies. Like the kingdoms would be at war, and any other king would continue to go to war, and then their sons would go to war, and it would just pass on from generation to generation. King Arthur saw this from the higher perspective, and it's just like, like, how do we heal? And then so they would seek to be able to want to be able to make enemies into allies. In our reality, that might not always be the case. Sometimes you can make an enemy into an ally, and that can take a lot of space holding, a lot of communication, a lot of forgiveness for yourself and for them. But at the same time, if it's literally just something where that's not the case, then the next best option is to just kind of like let them go with love. And for you to be able to say, it's just like, you're not my enemy. You're just another human being that's going through their own lesson and doing their own healing. And can you choose from the depths of your heart in the truest fashion, literally be able to see someone who has done something that maybe didn't really serve your best interest, and for you to be able to say, you know what, I still wish you the best. I might not say like, oh, like I love you, but I still wish you the best. Whatever words come from you to be able to kind of like release any sort of attachment that you might have had. And again, to understand that, sometimes people will arise within our reality to serve the role of our enemy, quote unquote, in order for us to be able to give the gift of our strength through the practice of us being able to become more clear on what is for us, what is not for us, how to set those boundaries, and how to be able to communicate our needs more clearly. So this is a very, very beautiful card. And I think this is a very, very valuable reminder to really just, again, continue to understand that, even our enemies can still help us through our ability to be able to make self-empowering decisions out of our best interest, while still doing it from an act of kindness for ourselves and also for them. Even if, again, let's just like you're actually being kind to your enemy by not feeding into their drama. Like it's like, dude, this isn't helping both of us. Like I just, sometimes you got to know when to be able to step away. Sometimes you engage, sometimes you step away. It's knowing when to do that, but it's making sure, and I'll just finish here, that you're not unconsciously being guided by your ego's desire to like want to win and want to be right and want to get like, like vengeance on this person and stuff like that. Really just check in with yourself and just be like, is this worth it? Is this worth my energy? Or what would be the quickest way for me to be able to find peace within myself? And sometimes that means talking to them. Sometimes that means letting them go. Whatever the case may be, either way, see it from an empowering perspective for you to have that opportunity to make the choice that is best for you. So, Ally in Disguise, discover the hard to find blessing. So if this card resonates with you, drop an 1111 in the chat. And that was a pretty cool card. Did that card resonate with you guys? Did that, even if we just kind of like chat about that for a second, would you get, did I read it good? Did I do a thing with the stuff and everything like that? I don't know. Did that resonate with you guys? Like, yeah,
definitely. That actually reminded me of a situation that I had at my work, my like daytime job, and whatnot, and like I could have gone like one route, and I just like didn't want to put all of that energy into that kind of like negativity and continue that, and I just let it go, and it was like a much better outcome for me. And so that card like super resonates with that. And yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I see that. Yeah, I definitely see that as like an empowering message, because I'm sure a lot of us are in this reality where it's just like, oh, like I feel like the whole world's my enemy right now or something, or they want us to be enemies and stuff like that. So it's like seeing it from that higher story. Yeah, I think that's really powerful. I've seen a lot of 1111s in the chat. I'm glad that is inspiring for you guys. And again, I hope that just kind of gives you permission to be able to make the choices that are right for you. And hopefully it does. That's the thing with tarot, man. Like sometimes people will tune into a broadcast and they'll like synchronistically just happen to tune in and they'll be like, whoa, like that's what I needed to hear. And thank you for reaffirming me and making a choice that I need to make, whatever the case may be. So yeah, cool. Anybody else want to say anything just on that? And then we'll pass over to our next reader. I think, Kristen, did you want? Yeah, go for it.
I love that, Brendan. Your messages are always so clear to me. It's like, it seems like something that can be so complicated to really overthink and try to have to worry about, oh, well, what about all these things? But if you can break it down to just this simple bit of like, can't you just understand that they are where they are and you are where you are, and we can all live in this world together, and that's okay for us to agree to disagree or whatever the situation may be. And I know I've had plenty of instances recently where I've been experiencing those relationship dynamics and really being able to learn to set those boundaries. And I think that is a really good affirmation for those boundary settings. If you've, been in those relationships and you're, coming up to this place where maybe they're trying to come back into your life, or, understanding that no is a complete sentence and it's okay to just walk away.
Very well said. Very well said. Cool. All right. Well, with that said, we can pass over to whoever would like to go next. Nadine, if you're okay. I wasn't sure if you had anything you wanted to say on that. I mean, I suddenly it just turns into a whole podcast discussion. And every card is like its own podcast topic, I swear. All right. Okay. So let's keep things moving along here. And Eloise or Kristen, who would like to be able to go next? And then we'll just kind of go through the rotation again, and we'll get in as many as we can by about the top of the hour. So Eloise, would you like to go next?
Yes, I can jump in. So I've actually been trying out a new thing that's been kind of working for me. So what I'm going to do today is I have 2 decks, and I'm going to just do, so one is a tarot deck. It's just like your regular tarot deck, Hanson Roberts. And it's the same one. Kristen has the same one. So it's kind of funny. This is my first one. It was gifted to me. So when I saw that Kristen had the same exact one, I was like, that's so weird. And then I also have the Starseed Oracle deck, which I just got, and it's like really cool. It's like really amazing artwork, and really awesome messages. So I've been pulling like 1 from the Oracle deck and then 2 tarot cards to go with it. So I'll just kind of set the intention for my spirit guides and ancestors and star family to kind of come in and help me pick a card from the Oracle deck for everyone here, our most and highest benevolent good. And I like to just kind of shuffle, and I'll ask them for 1 card to show us today. And that card is Forge, Don't Follow. And I'll show the image here as best I can. And so it's kind of like this like utopian earth, green, and it falls off into this like galaxy space. So beautiful imagery. And there's also a person kind of like floating in space down here. Also. And it looks like she's by herself. And then there's like a rainbow in the background too. Like, so pretty. Anyways, so it says, pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. And I'll read the book since it's a pretty short little snippet. And then we'll pull 2 tarot cards to kind of see like, kind of confirm like the message, or if there's like a specific like narrowed down path that Spirit kind of wants to bring out of this specific card, then we'll look into that. So the book here says, if you wait until the path is perfectly paved, you won't be forging your own path, and you'll likely not even take the first step. Don't let a small detail like being unable to find someone to show you the way be the reason you don't step forward and lead. Let it be the reason that you do. The most courageous and needed leaders are the ones who don't wait for permission or until the morning they wake up feeling ready. They take a deep breath, put 1 foot in front of the other, and figure it out as they go. They don't wait for someone to lead them. They lead themselves. This is a card for leaders. You're here to pave a path that hasn't been walked before, to go first and lead the way for others who are calling you in. And if you feel misrepresented in the media, you can step forward for all of those who feel misrepresented. And if no one's speaking out on the topics that you feel passionate about, you can use that as an opportunity to step forward and share your own unique voice. There's no one on earth who comes close to possessing your unique combinations of skills, gifts, and life experience. So don't look to those who have come before you to work out your path. Leaders must forge their own. Do it for your daughter. Do it for the younger you. Do it for the leaders who will follow. And when you go first, you make it easier for others to lead. Forge, don't follow. And that immediately, I thought it was funny that it says like, do it for your daughter. And I know Brendan is like about to welcome like a new family member in. And so that just like immediately popped out to me. And do it for the younger you and for the leaders who will follow speaks to me so much, because my grandpa is one of my spirit guides, and he comes through to me all the time, and he used to call me like the apple of his eye. And his favorite song was What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. And there's that line in there where it's like about the babies and how they'll know so much more than I'll ever know. And I'm like actually gonna cry like thinking about it, but that's kind of like what's coming through my message right now. And I can feel him here like giving me tingles and stuff right now actually. And it's like there can be so much like envy and jealousy in the world, but when we see other people who are succeeding and doing great things, then that's really an opportunity for inspiration, because we can tap into that same energy and see what our unique gifts are to share with the world. And so it also kind of accompanies with like a little question, and the one I really like here is it asks, how can you be the leader you wish you had? And so I'll leave that as like something to think about, and then I'll let the spirit guides kind of pull 2 tarot cards and see what message that wants to come through. And they just threw them at me. So we have the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Swords, and I'll kind of try to show them because I do like the artwork that is in this deck. So and what strikes me immediately is that these are like almost mirror images of each other, just different elements and different genders depicted in the cards, but the energy is actually very similar. And sorry, I'm just trying to kind of like take it all in and see what message is coming through. So what's really interesting is the Knight of Cups is the element of fire with water, and we just had the full moon in Aries and we're moving into Scorpio season. So I really see that like lining up synchronistically, and it's like a card that tells us to look inwards for our creative inspiration. And I think that really does go with the forge, don't follow. We have the answers inside of us, right? It's all within us. And I just had this thought the other day that was really interesting of how we all have the answers within us, but because we live in this third dimensional world, we can't have all the answers on us at all times. And so, that's why we all have our particular unique interests and niches that we find that we are passionate about. And that's what makes us all unique. And that's what helps us come up together and produce things together like so amazingly. Like when we are alone, we're amazing, but when we come together, it's just the energy that is amplified, allows us to tap into even more creative energies and produce even better outcomes than we could ever alone. And then the Queen of Swords is really telling us to like cut through like indecisiveness and make our decisions like more with more confidence. Just go for it. Don't hesitate anymore. Just don't be asking, you know, is this the right thing to do? And that, I think, again, goes with the forge, don't follow. Don't be like, oh, is this the right thing? Just go for it, you know, and just jump in with both feet and be that inspiration for somebody else. Because if you do that, then somebody else will be like, hey, if they can do that, maybe I can do that. And so, and then we get more people into it. And then the more people who are jumping in and doing the thing, the more energy, the more positive vibration, we're all going to raise the vibration. It's just going to like help us all resonate on a higher level together. And so, yep, that's what I'm getting. And that's my reading for today. And I hope that resonated with someone, everyone, or just people here. And thank you so much for allowing me this time to like kind of practice speaking in this way and doing a reading for people. Thank you. And you can, I don't know if anyone has any questions or wants to say anything, go ahead.
Thank you, Eloise. Yeah, if anybody here wanted to jump in and just share a bit about how that resonates with you, yeah, I like that. I like we're in a very important time where like leadership is so important right now. So I like that there were like a lot of themes of leadership that were coming through there. So that was really cool. And yeah, I appreciate the shout out that I received there, where you're just kind of like referring to like, yeah, like, you know, like that meant you were talking about like, you know, doing it for the future generations. And that was something that even when I was starting Paradigm Shift, I always had like this like kind of like catchphrase where it's basically like stand for tomorrow today. And so, yeah, like I think those messages that we had there was just kind of like, you know, like for everybody who's kind of been feeling it in their heart, where it's just, you know, if you're looking for a leader out in the world, be that leader. But at the same time, it's also, you know, like I think for a lot of us right now, it's the process of surrounding ourselves with fellow leaders. When you're completely by yourself, it can be kind of hard to fully just have that inspiration to be like a leader amongst a crowd of people who don't want you to be a leader. But you know, for each of us here, it's like we are leaders. We're leaders in our own way. We're leaders just again through the ways that we speak. And I think leadership is something that can, you know, sometimes be, you know, like leading a charge, or it can again be like something very soft where you're kind of changing things in a subtle way where, you know, over the period of time, people don't like, you know, it's kind of, this is actually a quote from like Futurama. I just quote Futurama, but Futurama, there's this quote where like Bender, he's like playing God basically. And it's basically this quote where it's like, when you've done something right, people won't know that you've done anything at all, sort of thing, where it's like sometimes like your leadership or however you're doing it, or the way that you're bringing your magic and your art to the world, sometimes it can be like so soft and subtle that it changes the world, but it might not always give you like the immediate, you know, people won't always be like, oh, like you did this. It will just be like something very like soft and subtle as well. So I like the idea of the conversation, like the different styles of leadership. So that was pretty cool.
That's amazing that you say that, because it, and in a different way, but very similarly, this really, what you do, you might not realize the impact that you have. So what you do may be subtle, but it could have such an impact on another individual. So my mom actually told me this, that sometimes if my dad and I will like fight about things, and then like afterwards he'll like think about it, he'll like come around to my side and like see what I was trying to say, but it's like way after the fact. And so, you know, at first I like, but I don't see that part of it, right? So all I think is like, oh, my dad doesn't agree with anything I say, like what we're not on the same page. But then he thinks about it, and the seeds I've planted, they start to grow, and he starts to think about the things I've said, and it changes his perspective on things. And so, like, you have to think about things that are just not in your immediate perspective. And I think sometimes we forget about that. When it's not seen, we don't really know, but we have to trust that our impact is being made when we do put our true selves out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like, it's kind of like this idea where it's like in nature, like it's like nature doesn't necessarily like it doesn't rush sometimes. It's like it'll take things nice and slowly and build the roots and everything. So that's where, again, like a lot of our, even just like our community here as an example, right? Like it's like, people come and they get involved with this community, and it might not always be something where it's just like it changes overnight, but then suddenly, especially for our members, our leading members, you kind of come and we have events every now and then over the course of like a couple months, you're just like, whoa, like I'm doing things now that I wasn't doing 2 months ago. And it's just like, how did that happen? It was just like the environment. So it's like, I think that's an interesting thing, is like, how do we as leaders create environment for transformation to be able to occur? And we're just kind of like holding the space for the transformation, while also like holding the vision of what that transformation can be. Again, a whole nother podcast topic all in itself, I'm sure. Eloise, thank you. That was so good. And Nadine and Kristen, if anything you guys want to share on that, and then we'll pass over to Christine for their next reading. And again, for Eloise, connect with Eloise on Instagram at Wheezy for Sheezy. Yes, you heard that right. And also the donate link is in the comments, as well as all the links are in the YouTube video for those of you watching this in the future. Any other comments on that for Eloise? And Eloise, that was good. Good job.
I would love to just share, Eloise, I really appreciate, I always really appreciate your messages, and especially the leadership qualities. I know there's been a lot of like kind of imposter syndrome happening in my own space. And so it was really beautiful just to be able to kind of hear that like keep going message of like, lead, this is what you're here to do, so like keep doing it. So thank you for that like little bit of confirmation for me. I really appreciated it, and I love the Starseed Oracle deck, so I'm really grateful you brought that tonight too. So yeah.
So cool, awesome. Yeah, Eloise,
thank you so much. Yeah, it's so great to hear such great feedback, and I appreciate all of you, and your leadership here has been great. I mean, I've come so far, I feel like, in the few weeks that I've been around you people. I mean, like this group, but so yeah, sorry. And Kristen, your giggles remind me of like when I was a kid and how I used to get the giggles so much, and like it's been bringing me back, and I think just my true authentic self has been shining through a lot more, and that's thanks to everyone here and everyone in the Paradigm Shift Central community. And yeah, so just thank you everyone, and yeah, I can't wait to see what Kristen has for us too. And thank you for the beautiful messages from Brendan and Nadine already.
Thank you, Eloise. And yeah, and again, this is Eloise is kind of like leading us into new territory for doing broadcast tarot reading on as an on-air broadcast. And also again, be sure to check out more on Eloise's Instagram, and I'm sure you'll be seeing some more tarot readings pop up here and there, as well as all sorts of other cool stuff. So cool. Eloise, thank you again. Kristen, are you ready? We'll pass it over to you. And again, at that point, let's just kind of commit to just going through one more time for everyone. And then at that point, I think we'll probably be at close to the top of the hour, maybe a little bit past that, but we're not going to go too late today. So Kristen, without further ado, we'll pass it over to you. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Well, thank you all. So I already pulled the cards that I'm going to read for you all. I actually really enjoy pulling while others are like it coincides, but I have a really beautiful reading I'm excited to share with you all. And my intention that I set as I was pulling the cards was, what do we need to know for moving forward as a collective? I always love to do inspirational motivation clarity, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I see this moving forward. But before I do the reading, if everyone would like, or if you feel called to join me in taking a breath together, just to be able to kind of sync our energies. So if you feel called, you can close your eyes if you'd like. Allow your body to find a comfortable position. And we'll begin by taking a nice deep breath in. And release. Breath in. And release. And one more breath in. And release. If you'd like to allow your shoulders to relax and allow warm, peaceful energy to wash over your body. And whenever we're ready, we can open our eyes, begin to come back to this awareness. Thank you all for joining me in that grounding moment. So the overall theme of the message that came forward is it's about love. And I'll come to the reason why, because it's really about love and understanding that your reality is love, the connections you share with others, the emotions that you feel, the interactions that you seek, the dreams that you chase. It's all fueled by love. And so the guidance for stepping forward is to allow yourself to be assertive and stand up for what you know you believe in. Don't back down from what you believe. Courageously stand up for yourself. The 7 of spring. And if you see the beautiful full moon is shining bright and this fairy woman is just pointing her arrows, knowing exactly where she's pointing them, but maybe she can't see exactly where the arrow is going to land, but she trusts, she knows that they're going to go exactly where they're meant to be. And so allowing yourself to move forward through your endeavors with that dedication and that drive of knowing that you are going in the right direction and being assertive about those decisions, because you've got a lot of things on your plate that you're managing. We've got many areas of our life that we go to find, in inspiration or wisdom or connection. And sometimes we have burdens that fall on our plate as well. And it's being able to find a balance between the things in life that we must do to be able to move through to the next step, and also understanding that there are moments in those times to be able to see the beauty of what you've worked hard for and seeing yourself being successful as you work through these things. It's like seeing the challenges in life as opportunities to grow and seeing the obstacles as ways to become stronger. Success that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, and sudden events or changes. So this is just another affirmation for anyone that is, working on endeavors. You will be successful. Continue to be assertive and allow yourself to believe in that vision that you're creating for yourself. And we're coming into this beautiful new awakening. And I feel like this really flows with what Nadine started this beautiful evening off with this story of you're stepping into something brand new, and you have so much wisdom that you've gained from your path up till now, but you're going somewhere unknown, and be ready for it. Be confident in yourself, because you have worked to get to where you are now. You have all the tools that you need. Allow yourself time to see the changes as they're happening in your life, and hold space for yourself as needed. If that means allowing yourself to kind of step back from your project or step back from something you're working on, if that's what you need, allow yourself to do that. It goes along with the saying, your projects are a flow state. So knowing that there's always going to be times to go and times to come back within. This one says, change the way you're looking at the situation. Embrace your uniqueness and a temporary pause in action. And then I have two more cards. And this is the energy from the bottom of the deck. So this is kind of just like, I always like to look at this as what is the energy around everything that's happening. And what came forward is the ego and the world, which is the combination of these two. It's basically like you've completed the chapter of whatever you were working on with your ego, feeling trapped, not feeling like you can do the things that you want to do. And you are now at a place of being able to see that ability within yourself, or that threshold of like, it's like the, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like coming into something brand new that you have been calling in for yourself, that you are ready for, that you are maybe nervous and unsure in your own ways, but you're going to keep moving forward. And so understanding that you are not trapped, you have everything you need, and not to worry so much about the material things in life, but to see the beauty that comes from the magic in the moments. Yeah. And then one final message, I pulled an oracle card for everybody from the fairies. I thought it was only right because I have fairies, fairy folk, fair here. So the message from the fairies was to go outside, of course. And it says, it's time to go outside, tune in to the powerful peace of nature wherever you are, and feel at one with your habitat. So I know it's getting a little chilly outside, but best in your own way, allow yourself to connect with nature, even if it's just finding a moment to ground your energy and think of the peaceful breeze on your skin or the trees around you, and or even you can touch dirt in your house, whatever. There's lots of different ways, but find a way to connect with the nature and the love that happens. That is going to be very supportive and beautiful for yourself. So yeah, thank you so much. That was my message, and I love you all dearly.
Hi, I'm here. I arrived.
Welcome to the party. So
Thanks.
we've yeah, I'm glad you made it. Yeah, we're just we've been going through, we've done a few readings, and we got a couple more still to do. So we've just kind of been getting into the format where we're going through, and then we'll kind of like talk about it for a bit. Nadine, Eloise, if you guys want to share on how that resonated with you. And now correct me if I'm wrong. Did you pull the awakening card and Nadine pulled the awakening cards? We had like two variations of the awakening card. Like that was a synchronicity that kind of happened.
I'm 80% sure that the deck Nadine is using is the angel version of mine. I think, is it Doreen Virtue? Yeah, I want that deck so bad.
So it's like the same deck with different images, or like is it?
I think it's Bradley's Valentine is what it is. Angel Tarot. But yeah, it's very similar.
Interesting. Very cool.
It's very, very similar. I don't know. I was like, is my mic still muted? I've noticed also a common theme. I don't think it was just a coincidence that we both pulled the same card, but there's just been kind of a common theme, the pattern that I'm noticing as we're going through each of the readings. So in alignment with this shift in perspective and awareness goes kind of in alignment with your card. I forget what ally in disguise or something along those lines, but it definitely goes in alignment with shifting your perspective of kind of how you see people and interact with them, not always seeing them as negative, but understanding how their energy is affecting you and being able to discern that experience is part of the awakening process. It's also part of shifting your perspective. So you're not just seeing this person as bad or a negative person. You're seeing and having this awareness of why they're like that, but you're also not allowing it to affect you anymore. And then also the other thing that I had noticed that is kind of coming through is this interaction between parents and children. So with Eloise's reading, she had pulled the Queen and the Knight. So when I pull a Queen and a Knight, to me that's similar to like a mother and son relationship. That is just, and then she had mentioned like your child that's coming in, which is a father-daughter or father-son. I'm not sure what you're having, but there's just a lot of the relationships, interactions with parents and children, as well as her grandfather had come in as well. And so our grandparents can have parental energy as well. Like for me, my grandparents were like my parents for a while. So Grandparents also still have that, and they are the parents of your own parents. So that's just a common theme that's going through collectively right now, is these relationships between our kids, our parents, and even, parental figures within our lives, whether those are grandparents, sometimes aunts or uncles, but just that general energy itself. So working through those energies, becoming aware of how they're affecting you right now, healing parts of those experiences that were like creating wounds or traumas or keeping you relooping into situations from the past. Those are all things that seem to be coming up like as a pattern I've noticed through each of the readings.
Yeah, I made a little meme video about this a while ago, where it's basically just like, I forget what the exact phrasing is. It's like, but we are the future ancestors, act accordingly, kind of thing. It's just like we will be, eventually, like down the road, people will look back on us, and what will they say? What will they think of how we, again, kind of like navigated these times as well? So yeah, no, that's cool. It's cool hearing, and thank you for kind of like piecing together the themes that we've kind of had throughout our readings, because that's one thing, we often see that. I notice that when I do readings on broadcast, I'll do like 3 cards, and they kind of create like a story. They have these common themes. So when we have 4 different readers together, again, it's kind of cool to see the synchronicities occurring through there. It's like one mega reading that comes out of it for the community. So good job on that, team. Anybody else want to comment on that? Eloise, do you have any comments on Kristen's reading? If you want to share, chit chat for a bit.
I just wanted to say that what resonates with me is the nature part. Like, I have been getting the message, like, go into nature. Like, it's almost every day now. Like, I need to do it. And if I don't, I'm worried about what the spirit might do to me. No, but all joking aside, that really resonates with me, because I don't have a car. I live in a city. I don't get into like full-blown nature as much as I used to when I was younger. And so I need to figure that out, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, that's like literally, it's just like you tune in for a tarot reading broadcast, and it's just like 3 hours of just like go out in nature. Have you considered going out in nature yet? Perhaps you should sit under a tree and spend more time in it. People are just like, oh, yeah, this really resonates with me. I want a synchronicity. I need to hear this. So no, literally though, that's always, it is interesting when we do tarot readings, where it's just kind of like, we find ourselves, there are kind of like these common messages that we go back to time and time again. But even still, within readings that I'll do, it's just like, if I go back to a message that maybe I even shared the day before, like, that's okay, because, there might be somebody else who's tuning in at this point who wasn't tuned in before. So it's not trying to get caught up on just kind of like, it's like, oh, it always has to be something new. It's just kind of like whatever needs to come through. And there are kind of like these core pillars of like, messages that are just like valuable reminders, where it's just like, let go, be easy on yourself, see opportunities, see challenges as opportunities, get out in nature, clean your goddamn room, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I like that card. I feel like I know I've seen that before, of like a tarot deck where it's just like a blunt tarot deck and stuff like that. I like that card where it's just like pull a card. It's like clean your goddamn room. It's just like, it's like call your mother or something like that. It's just like go hug a tree, deck like that. So, let's keep things rolling along here, because we're getting pretty close to our timeline, our time limit on this. And Kristen, thank you so much again. I know that you were probably going to be jumping out a little bit early to go do stuff that you got to do. And you let us know if you're jumping out at what, like the top of the hour, give or take?
We rescheduled our fun for tomorrow, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So let's see if we can just go through like one more quick one for everybody here, and then we'll be done for tonight here as well. And go ahead.
I just wanted to comment, Chris. I love your readings. It's like you're so present, and your guides and the angels, they're always supporting you when you read. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Candice. Yeah, again, it's really neat to, when we do these, when you do, for anybody, when you do tarot, it is kind of like a way where you're developing a relationship between both yourself and the cards, but again, kind of both between yourself and spirit as well, between yourself and kind of like the channel messages that is coming through with you. Go ahead, Kristen, if go ahead and reply to Candice. I didn't mean to interject there.
I just wanted to say thank you, Candice. I really appreciate it. I always feel my angels and my guides with me, so I'm grateful to hear that you feel them too.
I can tell, and when I'm on Instagram, I always when I see your live, I always watch it.
Oh, it's wonderful. Beautiful. All right, let's go one more round. You guys cool with that? All right. Okay. So Nadine, let's pass over to you. And Nadine, are you going to kind of similar style to what you did before? Unless there's anything else you want to set us up, and you let us know. But either way, we'll pass the stage over to Nadine. And again, for everybody here, I'm posting the links for the PayPal for any of the creators. So whether it's now or another time, or if you guys just want to reach out with them and check out their other services, definitely inviting you to do that. And thank you again, everyone, for your support in all forms. So we'll pass it over to Nadine, and then I'll go after that. And let's just, we'll intentionally just kind of keep it as like micro reading. That's a great practice for us as readers. It's like, let's practice doing micro readings. It's just like, good luck with that. Like, that's a good luck with that. That's the real challenge right there. So anyways, Nadine, passing it over to you when you're ready. Go right ahead. Let's hear it for Nadine.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm pulling from a different deck this time. And we got our first card is connected to the solar plexus. So it's interesting. I had mentioned we have this theme going on with the children and working with relationships. So we hold a lot of energy in the solar plexus connected to our inner child. And this is also connected to our sense of power, our self-empowerment. So that with, I've got obstacles and challenges with emotional withdrawal. So we've got 3 with the solar plexus, emotional withdrawal, and then obstacles and challenges. So that what that's telling me is that
there's a little bit longer. Sorry, I don't mean to. Yeah, no worries.
I'm gonna move my light so that you can see it better. Oh, there's still a glare no matter what I do.
That's all right. And can you explain what the image is? Like, can you sorry, I'm not trying to, I know this.
No, not a problem at all. So basically what this first one is, so obstacles and challenges, if you can see, there's little balls of light, as well as you have the number 5, and then you have almost like a break in the bridge there, but it's not big enough for him that he is not able to step over. It just creates a challenge. Like, he can't just walk straight through. You have to actually make the effort to step over. So this is part of healing and working through different obstacles and challenges and stuff that we face as we go through the process of healing our inner child. So a lot of times when we grow up, we create programs and situations within the subconscious that are built around experiences and things that we were told as we're growing up. And so what this creates is different obstacles and challenges when it comes to shifting out of those energies in the future. So 5 is connected to change. It's also connected to shift, changing and shifting into the next level. Taking that step over that crack is that obstacle. There is a deep abyss at the bottom. So it's like, be careful as you're taking that step over the crack so you don't fall. There's also light all around you that will catch you if you do fall. So even if you do, it's not that bad of a thing. That's part of like that 2 steps back. Sometimes you have to take 1 step back to take 2 steps forward. So this is in alignment with shift and change. Everybody's change, everybody's shift is different. Sometimes you move ahead with that shift. Sometimes you're able to step right over that crack and there's no problems. That was kind of a simple obstacle or challenge that you got through, but you did grow from it. You got over that fear of having to cross that crack and cross over that abyss. So you gain from that. And then some people fall. And those are the ones that actually grow quite a bit, because you have to figure out how to climb back up the sides of that abyss to get back up to where you were. And through that climbing back up, you actually learn a lot, because you're learning more than just having to step over that crack to get it to the other side. You're having to learn how to crawl up the side of a wall to get back to where you were. So you're learning more and more and more each time. So that's not a bad thing, but you might have to go into a state of withdrawal as you're going through that. So you fall into that crack, you fall into that hole, you've taken a step back. This is like your higher self or your inner self being like, whoa, before you take that step forward, maybe you should look behind you and see what's still keeping you stuck, okay? So there's things within that hole, within that abyss, that are still parts of you, because you are everything. So what parts of you are still kind of being hidden down there that you can't fully see yet until you fall down to that level? Okay, so that's what this is about, is becoming aware of what parts of yourself are hidden that still need to be healed. And a lot of this is coming from the inner child, but this is a working in alignment with self-empowerment, because the solar plexus holds a lot of that self-empowerment energy. This could be affecting your sense of confidence or your self-esteem. So if you want to be able to really move forward with confidence and feeling good about yourself and the things that you do, you have to sometimes take a step back and look at where your wounds are still keeping you stuck. Okay. So that was my micro reading. I could keep going, but I don't want to take up too much time.
That was a damn good micro reading. Thank you, Eloise. Yeah, no, I love that. Again, just that extra reminder where it's like, man, things are happening pretty fast these days, but as fast as they're moving, we always have time to just be able to observe, to really be mindful with each step that we're taking, because I think there is a kind of that lesson where it's like, if we're not stepping with mindfulness, then sometimes we may find that we have to like go back and repeat something, do something again. So it's like sometimes you rushing will actually make things take longer. Whereas like, it's kind of this is a quote where it's basically like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So, can you move smoothly? And so it's just kind of like more of that awareness and stuff like that. And with that helps you observe the obstacles to be able to get around them as well. So yeah, no, that was really cool. Nadine, anything else you want to add in on that?
I think it's also letting everybody know that if you do make that fall, if you do have to go back, if you do have to repeat a pattern or a cycle or something like that, you're not necessarily just repeating something over and over again. You're always going to learn a little bit more each time. You are learning something new. It's never a thing to beat yourself up on. If you take a couple step back, a step or two back in order to get launched forward, it's okay to be able to take that. It's okay to go backwards sometimes, because sometimes that backward step is what's going to create that ladder that takes you to the next level faster than if you kept trying to push forward when you weren't ready to move forward yet.
Yeah, we're always receiving the lessons that are meant for us in the moment. So sometimes that lesson it's just like, okay, maybe I do need to go backwards in order to be able to pick up something. It's kind of like, I don't know, kind of like reminds me in a video game where you like rush through quickly, and then it's just like, oh man, like I missed all like the bonuses and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go do it again and then try it again, and and then you get 100% completion, so to speak. Anyways, geek metaphors, but yeah, something like that. Life's a video game. Yeah. Okay. Nadine, anything else? And then we'll pass it over to next reading. Okay. All right. Okay. So, I'll jump in for the next one. And, again, for everybody here, go ahead and make sure that you are connected with Nadine, and link for that is in the chat. Seraphine Faye on Instagram. I'm just going to do another Hero's Journey, deck reading, just because I know this one's a little bit shorter than the other ones in terms of like the book info. And, yeah, again, for those of you who haven't already yet, keep an eye out for future live tarot broadcasts that I do on my channel. I'm hoping to be able to resume my broadcast schedule next week, but definitely at the beginning of November. And I usually do it like Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. EDT, but the last month I haven't been able to. So I'm excited to be able to get back into it. And this is like an awesome way to just be able to, again, kind of like get back into the vibe of doing tarot. So I'm just going to do a quick little meditation here. Whether or not you guys want to be able to join me, that's totally up to you, but just take an opportunity for me to just connect with my breath. Show us what we need to see. Show us what we need to see. Show us what we need to see. Sound effects, wizard noises. And pulling the card here. And the card that I pulled is, this one's very appropriate. Okay, cool. The card that I pulled for anybody here, this message is for you, is card number 8, Dream Sanctuary. Attend to the simple things. Card number 8, Dream Sanctuary. Attend to the little things. I'm going to read from the book here. And again, the image here. When you guys see this image, what do you see? What do you feel? I love being able to ask that question because it's always like different for everyone. Beautiful image of this like kind of like female figure form. And it's like her like energy is kind of like spiraling around her and just kind of like wrapped almost like in this like warm embrace. Beautiful, beautiful imagery here. So I'll read from the book, and as I read here, feel free to just kind of open your heart, and then I'll do a quick further channeling of the information. So Dream sanctuary. Attend to the simple things. This is a quote by Bruce Northam. At dusk, we encounter an elderly lady and her beagle biking toward us, teetering on a walking stick. She wore a motoring cap and clutched a bunch of wildflowers. I said hello and asked her where she was going. She replied in Welsh, and it's written in Welsh. It's like, Ride im miam barud. I don't know how to pronounce that. We looked to Erica for a translation. She said, I'm already there. So again, quick summary. It's like about like some old lady walking on the side of the road. Then two people see her and then they ask her where she's going. And she says, I'm already there. So message. Your sleep zone is your dream sanctuary. And yet you take it with you wherever you may roam. In fact, you are a dream sanctuary. Again, if anything I say resonates, drop an 1111 in the chat. You are a dreamer, and your presence provides a sanctuary for you and everyone who approaches you on the life path. Your dream zone is the orbit in which you spin, dance, live, and love. Attend to the simple things to ensure harmonious flow in all your relations, and you will sleep and awaken each day with a smile on your lips. Take inventory of anyone you need to forgive or whom you owe amends. Identify the attachments and behaviors you'd be better off dropping and releasing them. Resolve clutter in your bedroom, around your nightstand, and home and at work. Make room for success, happiness, prosperity, and brilliant ideas to swoop in and embrace you unencumbered. Dream symbol, bedroom. Your bedroom is the place in a house where the veil between the worlds is the thinnest. It represents your ability to connect with both the physical and the metaphysical, i.e., to dreams and waking reality. Dreams of your bed and bedroom often symbolize your most vulnerable, authentic, transparent, sensual self. This dream may be a message to indulge in a much-needed break from the intensity of the hero's journey, so you can reemerge refreshed, invigorated, energized, awake, and ready to be the hero you came here to be. Mantra. I am safe to be free and energetically and physically naked in my bedroom and beyond. All right, so let's dive a little bit deep here. This one's cool. And again, shameless plug here. We actually have our dream discussion circle on this Saturday. That's the one me and Lacey host. And that's for our members, our Patreon members. So for the Patreon members, hope to see you guys there. And again, for those of you who aren't on the Patreon, feel free to sync up with that if you'd like to join us. So this is a very cool card. And again, I'll just take 5 minutes just to be able to summarize it as best as I can. So I like the idea that, again, with this card, it's inviting us to really be able to not only reflect on our relationship with sleep, but also to really be able to reflect on the idea of our overall energy. How does it feel right now? Because when we allow ourselves to begin to put attention towards developing our dream habits, it really involves looking at our entire life holistically. You can't really necessarily say okay, I want to really be able to get into my dream practice and at the same time ignore the fact that your house is dirty and things are messy and you're in arguments with people and you're over encumbered with work and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. In order to be able to really kind of continue to dive deeper into the dream space, it really involves the process of really being able to pay attention to what everything else is like within your life. And not to say that it's wrong if things are messy and things are busy and everything like that, but what are you doing to intentionally be able to cultivate the sanctuary of your own sacred energy, of your sacred space? And so, for any of us here, it's important for us to be able to identify when we may be encumbered, when we may be over encumbered. And I think that word is a very interesting word, and when we don't usually often identify it, where, encumbered means to be carrying more than you should be carrying, more than you're meant to be carrying. Oftentimes, for me, the context of being encumbered usually goes in with playing video games and playing Skyrim or Fallout, where it's when your character is carrying way more crap than you're meant to be. You're picking up all this random stuff while looting, and then you're trying to run across the wasteland. You're just and it's just taking way longer than it needs to take, and suddenly it's a half hour just to get back to the trader. And so with this, it's just let go of all that crap. Pay attention, check your inventory, check your spiritual inventory. Can you clean it up? Can you organize it? Can you organize your energetic inventory so that things are spacious? And with that spaciousness, it's also opening you up for more of the gifts still to come, more of the opportunities still to come, and also a deeper relationship with your dream practice. So it's interesting because literally, you know, weren't we literally saying earlier where it's just like, I like that one card where it's basically like clean your goddamn room. This is it. This is the card. This is the clean your goddamn room card. It literally says, you know, like pay attention to the physical space and use that as a practice to be able to clear the energetic of like the energetic space as well. So your physical space is an extension of your energetic space. So if your physical space is cluttered and dirty, and that happens, it literally happens, it happens merely just by existing, use that as an opportunity to become aware of that, and then take the responsibility to be able to just make time to be able to say, like, you know what, I'm going to clean things up. I'm going to tidy things up. But it's tidying things up with intention. It's not tidying things up because it's just like, oh, like this is a chore, like, oh man. Get excited about cleaning things up. Fall in love with what it feels like when you are no longer encumbered, when you have that spaciousness. And then at that point, be it your dream practices or just be it, again, the adventures that you're still moving into, you allow yourself to just kind of like feel more open to being able to see. So again, you know, when you've got like a lot of energetic clutter happening in your life, the universe may put opportunities in front of you, but you might not be able to either see them or let alone take them in. You know, it might be like, oh man, like I'd love to do this, but I've got all these other things that I have to close the loop on. I got other things that I have to be able to tend to first. So if you're constantly just kind of like doing your best while still being gentle with yourself to just keep things tidy and keep things less over encumbered and just kind of pay more attention to, again, treating your entire life as like a sacred ceremony. Treat your body and as well as your physical space as a temple, and just kind of like bring a little bit more of that intention into that. And again, and in the process of doing that, you're also coinciding with the intention to be able to bring more attention to the dream practice, to the dream space. So, you know, the dream practice is one that is holographically affected by the rest of your life. So if you're excited about being able to bring more focus towards whether it is a dream space or just any of your spiritual practices and relationships, again, you know, just use this card as an opportunity to be able to get excited about diving deeper into the gifts that the dream space can have to share with you, as well as, again, you know, being able to see the dreamlike nature of the world around you, and really just taking time again to be able to take inventory of whatever energy you're working with right now. So again, you know, that can be physically cleaning the space, as we said, but it can also be, again, you know, kind of what we were talking about earlier. Are you spending a bunch of your energy like focusing on someone who you identify as an enemy? Are there people that you need to be able to have conversations with that you haven't had, that you've been putting off? Are you procrastinating about things? Are there work things that you haven't fully closed the loop on? So give yourself that gift of just, you know, like taking that extra little bit of initiative to be able to again, do things that might not always be easy, but in the process of doing that, you're giving yourself that freedom to be able to open up a little bit more of this, the graciousness within your sanctuary, which again, also opens up more room for success, for happiness, for prosperity, for creativity, for brilliance. And again, that can show up both within your dream space as well as just within your overall experience of life. So yeah, I like this one. This is a very, very cool card. You know, we all have the ability to be able to open ourselves up to more prosperity. But again, it means clearing the energy and making sure that there's space for that prosperity to arrive through. So check in with yourself right now. You know, are you over encumbered? If you are, that's okay. Identify it, and then pay attention to how you can begin to become less over encumbered, letting things go, tidying things up, closing loops, finishing projects, taking a little bit of responsibility. And again, just finding that will to be able to fall in love with what it will feel like as you move into that chapter where it's just like, oh, like we all know it. Like there's a very special feeling after you've cleaned your house and you're just like, oh, like I just feel much better right now, right? Like it immediately changes your reality. So physically, metaphysically, emotionally, spiritually, clean your goddamn room. That's what this card is. And then develop your dream practice as a result of it. So how's that card resonate with you guys? I'll just chat with that for a little bit there, and then we'll get right into the next read.
I do have a comment about that. So I was getting a little bit of a download because you were mentioning about cleaning your space and how that was kind of in alignment with the sanctuary dreaming space card. The thing that I've noticed and something that I do a lot in dream time is I work through a lot of stuff that I can't clear consciously because my ego is too present for me to receive the information. So dream space offers me that place where the ego is less in control of the situation, where I can see the parts of myself that I didn't want to see. I can work on the identities or the lack of identity that I have in that moment. That's been kind of a common theme with my dreams lately is working through that. And then also sometimes when we have situations that are needing to be cleared within our current reality, we will play them out in dream space in order to see different potentials of the way those situations could work for us. So it's a powerful tool for creation. You can even use it for manifestation. So if you want to experience something in the future, you can go through that experience in dream state and different potentials of whatever that is, so you can find the one that is most in alignment with yourself. And this is why dream recall is so awesome. Like I wish I could remember more of my dreams. Every now and then I do, and they're always very symbolic. But there's the opportunity, especially when you start learning how to do lucid dreaming and intentional dreaming, where you can set a specific intention for what you want to experience in dream time, be it a manifestation or something you're trying to create or bring into your reality. You can experience it in different potentials, or you can play out the potential that you thought was best for you and then realize that that actually isn't something that you want to experience.
Very well said. Yeah. Again, talking about dreams, like I love being able to do it. I love how this card just kind of like begins to open up that discussion there. Again, Nadine, I'm not sure if you're able to join us for Saturday, but again, just a lot of those discussions I'd love to even bring into our talk for our dream discussion circle on Saturday as well. So yeah.
Definitely try.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Eloise, Kristen, anything you guys want to share on that real quick? And then we'll get right into Eloise or Kristen. I forget, what order were we doing? I forget. Anyways, you guys decide.
I'm not sure if I've been unmuted or not, but I'm sorry.
Were you talking? I don't
even
know. I don't think so. Anyways, we can hear you now. It's all good.
Well, I did want to just say, like, thank you, Brendan. Your reminders to clean my room and take care of my space is always super appreciated. So thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I'll be that guy that just reminds you to clean your room. That's my stick right there. So
I feel absolutely in sync with Eloise and the go outside, like Spirit's been telling me all week, like clean your room.
Yeah. Clean your room and go outside. That's all. That's it. That's all it takes. So Eloise, anything you want to add on that?
No, pretty much the same thing, but it's always a pleasure to hear you like kind of talk about the cards and the inspiration. It just yeah, that's all I have to say. So thank you. Expressing gratitude.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Who's next? Like I know it wasn't that long ago. What was the original order that we did? Was it
I went next.
It was Eloise and then Kristen. Okay, that sounds about right. All right, okay, so let's pass over to Eloise and then Kristen, and then we'll be done after that. So Eloise, give us a micro reading, whatever the hell that means.
Definitely. So I had pulled a couple more cards, and it actually just like confirmed kind of like the cards that I had pulled earlier. So I'm just going to go a little bit more in depth about how they interact with each other and the message that is coming through. And so I'll get into it. So I pulled also the Justice card and the Eight of Swords. So you can take a look at those. And the Justice card is basically the major arcana counterpart to the Queen of Swords. So very similar energies there. And from that, I really got it's like Queen of Swords is Libra energy, which we're moving from Libra into Scorpio. And it's cardinal energy, so about leadership and taking the reins, but also like using your head and your heart to make balanced decisions. And so judgment kind of definitely plays in there with the balance and making those decisions with a balanced kind of perspective. And it's really funny because the Justice card is also related to Pluto, and that's ruled by Scorpio and Aries. So again, that Scorpio and Aries energy that came out with the air and water from the first card pull. And then I thought it was really interesting that with the Knight of Cups playing in here still with that fire and water energy, he really represents like a visionary, again, like a type of leader, but again, using our emotions, tapping into that emotional side of us to connect on another level with our leadership and with our uniqueness and how we bring that into the world. And it was interesting because I got kind of that it interlaced with what Brendan's card was saying, and what he was saying about that with the being kind of like a dreamer or in that space, and using that it's kind of like an area where we can assimilate like emotions and experience maybe in a different way than we can in our like awake reality. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And then the last card I pulled from the Starseed Oracle deck was the Courageous Peony, which talks about bringing your uniqueness into the world and letting yourself be seen for the multifaceted energy that you are. And they don't like peony doesn't compare itself to like a cherry blossom, right? Like we're all unique in our own way, and we all bring us that special something into the world. And you can tap into that to like inform the decisions you make, and that can lead to a certain sense of like integrity and like leading with the heart. And I think that's really important for that concept of leadership that we've been talking about. And I have like recently gotten into that concept of like we talked about like being the leader you wish you had, but almost like leading through action rather than like through words, not just saying things, but just behaving in the way that you would want to lead. And so just doing that through action rather than through word. And I think that really comes through in this card of the Courageous Peony is like, it just blooms and is beautiful and is there, and it doesn't have to tell you anything. Like, so yeah, just really tap into that heart center and try not to be afraid. And if you, again, like if you're doing that, then somebody else may be inspired to do that and allow their uniqueness into the world as well. So yeah. That was kind of the continuing message there from those cards.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Eloise. And again, we'll just kind of chit chat about this for a bit. One of the things you said where it's like, yeah, like not trying to compare ourselves to others. And I think that's such a very beautiful message. I think it's great to be able to look to others as examples and inspiration and aspiration and admiration, to be able to be like, whoa, like that person's blossoming. Like maybe I can blossom too, you know, like for like imagining like a little flower and it's like looking up at this big flower and it's just like, I want to be like you someday. And it's like, you can be like me, little flower, like keep growing. And then and then it does grow. Another metaphor that I've heard before that I really like is thinking about it. I'm trying to remember if I can imagine this properly, but imagining each of us as like a jewel on like this like beaded necklace, like the beaded necklace of Buddha or God or something like that. And so it's like you have all of these kind of like pearls on this necklace, and the pearls are different sizes. Like at the center, there's kind of like a big pearl, and then they kind of get smaller as they go around the neck. And the metaphor was basically this idea that it's just like each one of those pearls was significant. So whether it was a big pearl or whether it was a small pearl, it wasn't really relevant. Each one was like a pearl of God. It just happened to be positioned in a different place, but each one was like significant as well. So, you know, like size is irrelevant, and everybody's just kind of at a different point within their journey. And I think, like that's again, kind of like important to just be able to identify like what we were talking about earlier with leadership, where it's not like, hey, I'm better than you. It's just like, I'm at a different point in my journey. You're at a different point in your journey. And I hope that we can inspire each other. And sometimes what's really interesting is that, you know, some of us come into a point within our relationships with other people where we will be at a different stage in our journey that may be kind of, you know, like someone might be like on like level 20 and then somebody else is on like level 6 or something. But then there's actually significance for the person on level 20 to be able to help the person in level 6, for them to be able to look back and be like, well, it's like, well, I was where you were at one point, and when I was on level 6, someone at level 20 helped me. So here we are continuing the favor, and maybe you'll help someone else in a similar fashion down the road as well. We're all just kind of like climbing the mountain together and reaching back to lend a hand is the way that I think of it. So as I just like, here, let me give you 20 more metaphors and allegories of like leadership. I don't know. I feel like I could. Anybody else, feel free. We'll just chit chat for this for a little bit and then move on from there.
I was gonna say that what I hear is that like to like admiration, like celebrate each other's talents or gifts, and remember we are one, and like as a collective that just giving space to create in how we communicate is really gonna transform the world.
Absolutely. Well said.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, Candice. Anybody else, or Eloise, if you want to reply to anything? And Nadine, yeah, you wanted to jump in? Go for it.
I just wanted to make one comment that had kind of stood out to me, like when you pulled the flower card, the peony card, the first thing I thought of was like every flower blooms in its own time. Even you can see a bush, because we have these bushes around my complex that have like all these beautiful flowers on them. And in the beginning, maybe 1 or 2 flowers bloomed, and then towards the end of the summer, there was like 20 flowers on a bush. But you could make each one bloom when you wanted it to. I mean, you can ask for all the flowers to be bloomed at the same time, but then you don't have that full bloom throughout the whole summer that goes into the fall. So every flower blooms and at its own pace, at its own time, and that creates this continuous flowering rather than them all flowering and then dying at the same time. So it's a process. If you haven't bloomed yet, it's because you're not ready to bloom yet. Your turn is coming. You're still going to bloom, and you're still going to be as beautiful as all the other flowers. Everybody has to be ready to wait for that turn, the divine timing, to fully go into their bloom.
Very well said. Yeah. We're all. I like this idea where it's like just in themes of blooming, where it's just like everyone's like it's like, oh, I'm a star seed and stuff like that. It's like yeah, you're a star seed, and we're becoming star flowers and also star blossom. So I mean, I like the idea of like star seed, that's great, but as we move into the future, you know, for everybody else, put that seed in your head where it's just like you are the seed, but within the seed is the blossoming. So maybe when somebody asks you, be like, are you a star seed? You could be like, I'm a star blossom. Like, I don't know, it's kind of cool, right? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
That's amazing. And that was
really cool.
complete like triangle of synchronicity for me. So the other day I pulled Trust the Timing, which is a card from the Starseed Oracle deck, which is exactly that, like trust the timing of when things are supposed to happen for you. And then when I was in high school, like the first play in high school I was in, I was Peas Blossom, which made me think of like Star Blossom, but I was like a fairy in Midsummer Night's Dream. And so like when you said Star Blossom, I was like, oh my God, like I don't know why. So it was like a random like synchronicity there I had to mention.
There we go. That's so cool. Kristen, do you want to share anything before we'll segue it over to you for another reading?
I just love the theme of leadership, and the blooming is always beautiful, and I think whenever you are sharing with your wisdom, I love it whenever you incorporate the astrological aspects of it too. That's always really insightful. So thank you for sharing that part. And yeah, just I love the theme. Let's just keep blooming, family, and sharing our lights and welcoming in that growth as it comes.
Awesome.
I like to everybody else can go, but I like to pull a card because I got Disney cards, and I like to pull one for everybody, but I'll go last.
Candice, I think it's okay for we can have you go next because we've done a few readings already. So if you have a deck that you'd like to share, then yeah, we'd love to be able to invite you to do so. So Candice, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll just get the card.
Okay.
It just takes me a couple of seconds to get
No
it.
problem. Yeah, and for everybody.
So,
Yeah, for everybody here, let's give a nice warm welcome and thank you to Candice. And if you haven't met Candice, again, Candice, she's been in a bunch of our broadcasts, one of our newer members, and yeah, again, one of our many awesome flowers that we have here in our beautiful garden of leaders. That sounds cool, right? We're just a garden of leaders.
That sounds me up to a T. So
all right, Candice, we'll pass it over to you then. So let's give Candice the stage. Candice, when you're ready.
I'm just gonna give energy to the cards. Let's see. I'll just pull the deck. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Just a sec. Sorry for the wait. Okay. Got the card. Whoops. So let me see. I'll do these two. Just put down. Okay. I'll just do it. I'll do Donald Duck first. So, this is Donald Duck's. Well, he's dressed up as Santa, as a lady, and what I see is, as a collective, I see that like in our gifts we can just create a sense of coming together to shine our worlds as play as artistic, like see our world as a storybook when we get up or as we go through the day. Just create an image of character that we want to create, like as futuristic, but bring it into 3D world, because I sense that this world needs more creativity, more fun, and presence to love, and just bring the energy flows together and be as one. That's the first card. I want to read. There we go. Love these cards. They're awesome. I'm such a, yeah. Let's see. And this next card is all about like just taking time and have solitude and bring thankful to ancestors and Mother Earth and Gaia, and just give her thanks and just have solitude. And as we have solitude for ourselves, we're actually giving solitude to the whole planet and healing the planet. And it's just really cool to remember that each moment, each day is a celebration. There, that's my read.
That's beautiful. And Candice, what's the second card, just to confirm?
It's this card.
Does it have a name for it?
Yeah, I just call it solitude. See?
It's so solitude. That's the name of the card then?
Yeah,
Cool.
it's yeah, it's just Pluto.
Oh, Pluto the dog. Oh, very cute. Wow, that's so cool. Candice, I had no idea that somebody made a tarot deck with Disney characters. I'm so excited to know that exists now. Like, I mean, I guess there's like a tarot deck for everything. Like, I assume there's probably a tarot deck for like Star Wars too.
From a friend, she found them online. She lives in New Jersey, so she does her own readings, and she had she has the same deck. So yeah, it's so cool.
So cool. Oh, that's awesome. Candice, thank you so much. And yeah, we can just kind of like chit chat here on the messages there, and then we'll pass it over. Kristen, go ahead if you want to jump in. Yeah.
Oh, Candice, thank you so much. That message was beautiful. And I just wanted to share, Donald Duck is actually my favorite. When I was a kid, when I went to Disney World, that was the one character I had to get a picture with. So thank you for sharing.
I went to Disneyland like in California in '87 and got a picture of Mickey Mouse. It was so cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I liked yeah, so like the first one, like Donald Duck, but it was Donald Duck in a dress, I guess. So it was like kind of like, it's
Yeah.
again, it's like interpreting the symbolism of that. It's like here's Donald Duck like expressing how he wants to be able to show himself into the world, and kind of like, the way I see it is kind of like, we wear many different costumes, and we like as a spirit, there's kind of like the true self, and then there's kind of like the shell of the body and the ego, and so it's kind of like, Donald Duck kind of like knowing who he is to be able to express himself with such confidence, and kind of going back to the leadership where it's like, expressing yourself how you want to express yourself in a way where, like you're not if other people want to say, hey, Donald, you shouldn't be dressing up like that, that doesn't stop Donald from doing it. So be like Donald, I guess. Is that
Yeah.
something like that? Is that, you guys, any similar interpretation? Or Candice, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Like, basically, there's no wrong or right answer. It's just whatever feels right in the moment.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, Candice, thank you again for the reading, and I'm glad you were able to join us when you did. So
Yeah, I'm glad I joined too. It's awesome.
awesome. Well, for everybody here, feel free to connect with Candice, and we posted Candice's Instagram in the chat. And for anybody here, I would really, again, for the people tuned in, please do me a favor and even just like reach out to the creators that we've had on air with us today and just leave a kind comment on a post. Maybe send them a direct message and just be like, hey, like I saw you on the broadcast. Like those kind little comments go a long way. And plus it gives us a chance to be able to know who's tuned in. So I'll post the links again for everybody's profile so that you guys can do that at your own time. And I know that that's always really appreciated. So we'll keep things moving here. Kristen, if you can conclude this off with one more reading, and then we'll be done after that. So
Absolutely. Okay. So I already pulled the cards, and I pulled cards from my animal oracle deck. I thought it'd be nice to bring a little animal energy in. And then I also pulled a card from my Odin oracle deck. So really excited to share a little bit. Odin's, those hopefully Odin's very nice tonight. But the animal that came forward is number 28, which is the crow. And it says law. And I'm going to read from the book on this one. As a creature of the void, crow is believed to exist in the past, present, and future simultaneously, to embody darkness within light and light within darkness, and to watch over all the worlds and dimensions from all viewpoints in chorus. She makes little distinction between right and wrong, but acknowledges the necessity for existence of both. Without them, we wouldn't learn the lessons afforded by choice. According to legend, when Crow appears, she is challenging our perceptions while daring us to follow her deep into the void, into our consciousness, to strengthen our principles and our relationship with spirit. Crow encourages us to seek wisdom found in the inner silence and to ponder our actions and reactions to life. We inherently know the difference between right and wrong. Crow asks us, therefore, to trust our judgment and make the most sensible decision when one is required. Her appearance generally heralds a sudden but necessary change, a wake-up call, or a lesson in self-discovery. Crow is one of the sacred keepers of universal law and the custodian of ancient records. She espouses the law of three, the understanding that whatever we do will be returned to us threefold, that it matters not what we do in this life, so long as our actions bring harm to none. And she reminds us that all our actions are recorded, and although karma appears patient, it is often ruthless in its delivery. To understand these laws and to live by them with the purest intent will see us exit this life and journey into the next with a clear memory of our previous life and lessons learned during that time. If Crow has flown into your cards today, Listen to your instincts and act upon them in a way that honorably serves your purpose. Treat others as you would like to be treated, and never expect others to do what you should do yourself, and never act in a way that may cause harm to another. Breaking these simple rules will see the strong arm of spiritual law slam down the karmic hammer. You have all the wisdom and knowledge you need within you to make the right decision. Call upon it now, and you cannot make a mistake. So the big message that comes forward from Crow is to see that you are deeply connected on many levels in the way that you exist in this world, reflects and ripples out into the worlds of others that we share. And so when you are making decisions, make them from that place of love, of from your heart, and understanding that you have a beautiful opportunity before you to wake up and make the choice to continue down your path in a way that works for you, and understanding how your actions will ripple out and encourage and inspire the world around you. And so just seeing and knowing that the little things that you do as you move through life, they do matter and they do impact. So thank you for being you and doing all that you do, and continue flying through the dimensional realms of your existence and sharing the wisdom that comes from that. And then the cards from the Odin, we got the Os, which is a vessel. It's a signal of spiritual gifts. Os is an ancestral god and a part of the Aesir. Let me see if you guys can see. Yeah. This rune represents the vessel that holds the magic and power of the Aesir. The human body holds our creativity and fusion of the goddess and gods. Examine the messages and signals you receive. The alchemy of what you do with this information takes place in your body, your vessel. This rune has the potential to bestow the wisdom and magic of the Aesir on those who are listening and paying attention. Look to the divine. And the other card that came with it, because Odin gave me two, is Tiwaz, spiritual warrior, sacrifice, and justice. Tiwaz represents war, justice, and law. If you draw this card, you may need to deal with matters of the law and remain unattached to the outcome. Tiwaz indicates that it's your time to pick up your sword and cut away the obstacles that are blocking your path. All spiritual warriors understand that sometimes you can only do so much to create the outcome you desire, and then you need to leave the rest up to the Creator. You may be seeking justice and you will have it, but it will come unexpectedly. This card also calls you to sacrifice a belief system or thought pattern that no longer serves you. Remember, the battlefield is within you, and Tiwaz has given you a sword and shield to aid and protect you in the fight. You have everything you need within you to make all the difference in the world that you want to see. Trust yourself as you take these actions and as you move forward, and know that the wisdom that comes forward from you comes from a place beyond knowing, beyond understanding, beyond needing to control the outcome of what it is. And know that your connection to the balance that is the dark and the light of you is what gives you the magical powers that you hold within you to make the change in the world. So understand that those dark parts of you are beautiful, and then they make you special. They give you such depth and uniqueness that no one else can bring to the world. So love those parts of you just as much as you love the light and the shine and the praise and the beauty, because you are both. You are whole as one within your being. And yeah, that's the message. So thank you so much.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. I love that. I've never seen that deck before, the Odin deck. I love the mythology of that as well. Odin and the nine realms oracle. So if anybody has, again, any comments on that reading from Kristen, how it resonated with you, again, for anybody in the chat, drop an 1111 if there is some resonance there for you as well. And yeah, we'll just chit chat for a bit, and then we'll be done our party for the night. So but yeah, anybody go ahead and jump in, and then I'll jump in after you.
So I love that you pulled the crow card from as you were doing the Odin deck. I just thought that was such a beautiful synchronicity, considering they're both so connected as well as energetically, but through mythology. And then the last card you pulled, how you were speaking of how we're already protected when it comes to situations, whether it's a law situation or a contract or something that you're going through, connected to that. Just because we want an outcome to happen a certain way and it doesn't, that doesn't mean that it wasn't in our best interest. So we're already geared up and built with the shield that we need to get through whatever it is that we get through, even if it doesn't turn out the way that we want it to.
Very well said. Yeah. No, it was interesting. It was interesting. Like I don't know what the name of it was. The last one that you pulled or whatever. Like a lot of like the warrior and what was it? Tiwaz? Yeah. And so is that like a figure? Like, is that like an actual character from the mythology?
So these are runes. So this deck, this deck gives you runes, gods, realms, and magical things. So
magical things. That's a big category right there. So.
Well, it's like anyways,
no, I hear it. That's cool though. So yeah.
Tiwaz is the spiritual warrior card. So like I love that this card came up in this particular
there you
group.
Go. Yeah.
Spiritual warriors, leaders. It goes along with leadership.
There you go. Big themes of leadership tonight. Absolutely. And yeah, I like again what you were saying there, where it's like everything that we need is within inside of us. So for leaders, just being able to kind of anchor back into that, where it's like together it's like we may not have it all together, but together we have it all kind of thing. And so if we can just kind of like continue to trust in that process, that not only are we being guided, so to speak, but it's also our ability to consciously be able to align ourselves with that guidance. Because I think as warriors, whatever that means to you, again, I think at times we will kind of like stray from that path, stray from our ability to be able to connect to our own inner guidance. So it's in that knowing that guidance is there, that it gives us a place to be able to return back to. So for each of us here, as like, what does it mean to be a warrior? For me, being a warrior, again, it's not just about like taking a sword into battle. A warrior is about perseverance. It's about adaptability, flexibility. It's oftentimes strength in the form of gentleness as well, and strength in the form of awareness. So again, it's like I said, it's a whole nother podcast topic there. Anybody else, go ahead if there's anything else that you want to just chit chat, and then we'll get close to finishing it up here. Eloise, yeah.
I like that the crow and then the Tiwaz, and the fact that I pulled judgment, like there was like a direct line there, and it really spoke to me about like making decisions from a balanced place of both like mind and heart, and not leaning too much on one or the other. I just thought that was such a interesting kind of synchronicity there, and kind of that thing about balance. That's been such a thing lately, I think too. Of actually, I was gonna say with the Donald Duck card, my immediate reaction was balancing masculine and feminine within ourselves, regardless of how we identify as like gender. And just having that image pop into my head when Candice spoke of that. And I think that all kind of aligns together as well. So thank you for those messages and guide and spirit messages or whatever.
Yeah, very cool. Shout out to your dog as well, Eloise, holding space there. We were joking earlier before the broadcast started. Kristen, you weren't here for this, but we were just like, it's like, does anybody here do like tarot readings for pets? Like, can that be a thing where you're like, this is a message that your pet has for you as the owner, and then you kind of like channel the wisdom of what the pet's needs are through the cards to the owner? I'm like, man, there's a niche there. There's a niche, tarot readings for pets, man. I'm sure they would be into that. And then getting the pets to like do tarot readings where you like lay the cards out and then they like lick a card and then you're like, oh, this is the one, or something like that. So stay tuned for future broadcasts of pet tarot or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Luna's down for pet tarot.
There we go. Luna will host a broadcast. Tune into Luna's channel coming soon. So Cool. Let's get closer wrapping this up here. If there's any other comments on Kristen's reading, feel free to share that. But other than that, let's just, I think, just move into gratitude. In typical Paradigm Shift Central fashion, we're 1 hour past our original time that we said would be done. But hey, whatever, time is a very flexible, illusionary things, and here we are once again. So yeah, let's move things into a bit of a conclusion here. So for anybody who just wants to be able to share any just like closing thoughts, how was this for you guys? What's our takeaway? What was there a particular takeaway message or something that really kind of like stuck with you out of tonight? And again, asking that question for the YouTube comments as well. Was there any in particular something that you took away from this tonight? We'd love to be able to hear it. And other than that, let's just close it off with gratitude. So again, for me, yeah, I think there was a lot of message. Like we kind of already said, there was a lot of themes of leadership, and I like being able to just kind of like, again, like reclaim our power through the way that we choose to see things. I think it really comes down to perception in a lot of ways. So that for me was, just and that's not even like a new message, but it's just a valuable message to kind of be reminded of. And yeah, I like the idea of really being able to celebrate the unique ways that we show up as leaders and just feeling that support from each other. So I think that was pretty cool. Anybody else, feel free to jump in and then we'll be done for tonight. So go, Kristen. Yeah.
I'm so deeply grateful for this beautiful connection that we've been able to share with one another, and the wisdom that's come forward tonight has been gorgeous. So I just wanted to start by saying thank you, each of you, for sharing your wisdom and your gifts, and for everyone in the chat holding space and sending your love and energy. It's all beautiful. And I think the overall message that I know I feel connected with from tonight is being able to move forward from a place of understanding, of like just knowing and trusting and allowing yourself to be that leader that you feel called in whatever way you feel called to do, and trusting your path. And I think there was a big message too about really allowing yourself to be present and be in that balance, while understanding that it's okay that there's more going on than maybe what you just have physically happening, and to be able to give yourself space to incorporate the layers of life, and understanding that it's okay for part of it to be one way and another part to be another way, and to see the reflection of it, but to continue to work towards that cohesive energy of balance and growth and trust. And yeah, sending you all lots of love.
Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah. And again, a lot of times when we do tarot readings, when a lot of us do our individual readings, again, we do it with the intention to be able to provide you like inspiration on your journey. So for those of you who are here tonight, we hope that in some way this inspired you, and just kind of, again, just by being able to connect to the energy of the team, I know that in itself is inspirational. And with any of these broadcasts, from here, it's always kind of like that call to action to be able to take this inspiration and then to incorporate it, to embody it, to actualize it, to bring it into your practices tomorrow. So we hope it just kind of helped, again, give you that additional support on your journey. And whether it's just affirming that you are in the right place, or again, just kind of giving you a little bit of direction of where you're going as well. So yeah, closing thoughts. Nadine, did you want to share anything? And then we'll just go get close finishing off. Yeah.
So another common theme I had noticed, because it's a card that I drew, and then also it came up in Kristen's, and it's just been something that has come up in different kind of ways, is our obstacles and our challenges are actually what allow us to move into that next level. That's what helps us get into that next experience. So our obstacles and our challenges, be it a delay or something, having to look at something from a new perspective, or having to heal from a certain experience, those obstacles and challenges are what create and provide the growth in order for you to, get where you need to go.
Totally. Very, very relevant message. I guarantee you, if you tune in for like a tarot reading broadcast, you'll probably I feel like that message always comes up, but it's like, it's relative, man. It's a human lesson that we're constantly, again, incorporating. So yeah. Nadine, thank you again. I'm happy that everybody was able to bring such a beautiful readings and messages to the broadcast tonight. So Eloise, any closing thoughts and gratitude, please feel free.
Yes, thank you so much. This was fantastic. It was amazing to be able to practice doing these kind of like live on air readings for the first time for myself. And it really helped me kind of like learn more about, I think, what my style might be, especially how to weave in some of the other ideas I've been thinking about with the conscious creators conversations we've been having over the last couple of weeks. And so just very exciting, and so happy to be here. So thank you so much, Brendan, for hosting this space, and to everyone here either participating or engaging or just watching at a later time. Thank you so much for holding space for all of us and these messages. And I hope we can talk soon, because I just like really love these little get-togethers.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Eloise. And Candice, I'm not sure if you're there, but if you're there, please feel free to jump in and share any closing thoughts. And again, Candice, we appreciate you joining in and sharing your heart wisdom as well. Go ahead, Candice.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. And I love contributing and being part of the community is so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Candice. And again, I'm glad you're able to make it. And yeah, we got a lot of wisdom that we brought into the circle tonight. And thank you again to those of you in the YouTube for leaving your chat, and those of you listening to this in the future. We'll also upload the recording of this to Spotify. So for any of you who are listening to this on Spotify, be sure to jump over to YouTube to be able to get all the links for the creators in the show notes in YouTube. So just open up the video info and scroll down, and you'll see all the links for everybody here as well. So for myself, for Nadine, for Eloise, for Kristen, and for Candice. And again, all like everybody here, like I know we all kind of like we offer additional like options for people to be able to connect with us. Some of us offer services. So if there's someone who you particularly resonated with, feel free to reach out and ask them about doing any sort of private readings and learn more about what they have to offer. And I know there's lots of options and opportunities there available. So yeah, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. And this has been quite the enjoyable party, beautiful practice, and yeah, lots of beautiful inspiration that came through in the team tarot reading party. So any closing thoughts from anybody before we we're good? So cool. Okay. All right. So with that said, concluding the broadcast here, thank you again, everyone, so much for joining. Just final reminders, if you haven't already yet, be sure to connect to our Discord server. The link for that's in the info for this video as well. And through there, you'll find ongoing information about upcoming live broadcast events, services, and content from the leading members of our community. If you really resonate with our community and you want to be able to help support and connect further, be sure to connect to my Patreon, where you can join our leading membership for $11 a month, plus higher tiers if you're interested in that. And yeah, we got lots of other awesome private community events and broadcasts still to come. And yeah, we also have our dream discussion circle coming up this Saturday. So for anybody who's like been tuned into this broadcast, go ahead. Candice, did you want to? Oh, 1 second, Candice, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm coming to the dream circle.
Perfect. And Candice will be there, and I'm sure we'll have a few others of us that will be there as well. So thank you again, Candice. So yeah, so again, if anybody's joined in right now and you guys are looking to be able to join in for the Dream Circle, go ahead and join that Patreon real quick, and you'll be able to jump in for that. And again, be sure to connect to the services offered from our other members within the community as well. And please feel free to tell your friends and invite more people to check this out. And if you're not already following us on Spotify, check us out at Paradigm Shift Radio on Spotify, and there's lots of other content there as well. And yeah, have fun exploring the Discord, and we look forward to being able to have you around again for many exciting broadcasts still to come. So with that said, let's finish it off here, and we'll call this party, and we'll come back again another time. So everybody here, feel free to unmute your microphones, and we'll wave goodnight, and until next time. So good night, everybody. Good night, shifters. We love you guys.
Bye.
Blossoms. We love you guys.
Goodbye.
All right. Good night, everyone. We'll
Bye.
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 Beautiful. All right. Okay.